Hello and welcome to a new vlog and flight report. Today we're flying from Exeter back to Amsterdam, and here on the map you can see our approximate flight route. We are starting in Exeter, flying over London, and now we are approaching Amsterdam in the Netherlands. But this video starts a bit different because during my ride on the Tarka line I got an information by KLM that my flight was cancelled due to bad weather, and I tried to contact KLM via message, via phone. I also tried to solve the situation myself in the app, but I could only rebook myself to the flight of the next day, but I couldn't get a hotel on the app and I couldn't reach them by phone or by message, so I decided to head out to the airport, and luckily I found an employee there because there were no more flights supposed to leave from Exeter except my cancelled one. But of course there was an employee and she was very helpful and organized everything for me within minutes. I got a very nice hotel, the Voco Hotel, close to the airport. As you can see, a wonderful and a beautiful hotel room in a high-class hotel, so I was quite surprised by what a nice hotel I got here for my stay to wait for the flight of the next day. Of course, also food was included and provided, and the food also was amazing. So the situation was handled quite well, except that it is also now quite impossible to contact KLM in person. So if you are in a situation like this and you cannot get a hotel in the app, which is sometimes possible, I would recommend heading to the airport and then find a member of staff, and then everything can be organized within minutes. It took only like 5 or 10 minutes until I got my hotel. I got a taxi to the hotel, my dinner and breakfast was sorted, so that was very easy and much faster than waiting in a phone line for a couple of hours. I also had half a day at my hotel. I got a late checkout, of course, and in the afternoon after lunch I was picked up by a taxi again and brought back to the airport of Exeter, and now we can try again to fly back to Amsterdam. Here we can see the beautiful airport. There are a few restaurants, but they were closed today as my flight was one of only a handful of flights leaving Exeter today. There are sometimes quite a few holiday flights, but today there were just a handful of flights, so not all parts of the airport were open. But here in the main part there is a small restaurant and cafe, there is a seating area, and we have 2 shops, which is a quite nice and convenient waiting area. Everything was going extremely smooth. It took only a few minutes to go through security. Everybody was so nice and helpful. It was a whole different vibe than in a big airport like London Heathrow, for example, where everything feels stressed and rushed. Here everything was just so relaxed, calm and friendly, and I really enjoyed the airport of Exeter. I can highly recommend flying from here. And here we are in my plane, an Embraer 175 of KLM Cityhopper that will bring me now to Amsterdam. As you can see, the interior is pretty nice. We have the standard features. The seat pitch is also quite good. And here we are already on my way, leaving on time. Well, actually I was delayed by 24 hours, but this flight was on a time, and now we're gonna leave Exeter, and of course we're gonna see the departure with the original sound. And as you can see, as it was late afternoon in December, it was already dark outside. And here we are up in the air, and now we're heading to London, crossing the North Sea, and then we're approaching Amsterdam. As you can see, also on this short flight, a small dinner was served. There was a cheese sandwich and one included drink. I chose a coffee, but I could have also been ordering a small bottle of wine, just like you have seen in my last flight video. So this is what I really like about KLM. They have a fantastic service on board, and even though I was pretty annoyed by how difficult it was to contact them, as soon as I found someone at the airport, everything was handled very well and very professional. I got a nice hotel room, great food, so the situation was handled very well, and I still can recommend flying with KLM, even though my flight was cancelled and it was quite difficult to contact them in the first place. But in this situation, as I said, I would recommend just heading out to the airport and find a member of staff there, and then everything is working very well. Here we are now approaching the Netherlands. We're above Leiden. We headed in the direction of Alkmaar, then we turned south, reached the mainland close to the city of Leiden, and now we're approaching Amsterdam. We can see the beautiful cities below us. It was a pretty nice and spectacular approach into Amsterdam, and of course we're gonna listen to the landing there with the original sound once again. And here we are in Amsterdam, finally, for me 24 hours later than planned, and now it's time to head to my hotel, which is near Frankfurt, as I had an appointment there the next day, so I booked the hotel spontaneously, and now I'm heading there by car, which is a drive of around 5 hours. But of course, first I had to get my luggage. But today I was quite lucky because we were assigned a position right at the gate, which is quite unusual in Amsterdam for a small plane like my Embraer 175 with the registration PHEXN, delivered to KLM Cityhopper in May 2017. So the plane was around 9 years old. Took only a couple minutes to get my luggage. Amsterdam is a quite nice and efficient airport. I really like the airport of Amsterdam. Even though it's a big airport, it is a nice airport and everything seems to work very well, at least when I'm here. Everything was always working very well. As my car was parked at the Q Park Spar Gasthuis, I had to take a bus for around 15 minutes, and here I am at the parking garage, and I can now start my journey to Frankfurt. It was already around 8 o'clock in the evening, and I now have to drive for around 5 hours to get to Frankfurt. And here we are at my hotel. I booked a Hailu hotel close to the airport of Frankfurt, and of course I was quite happy to arrive here finally after driving for around 5 hours in the night, and I was looking very much forward to go to sleep in a nice hotel room. And of course we can take a look at my hotel room, which reminded me a little bit of a boat or a yacht, so it was a quite nice hotel room. And what was also nice, the next morning when I woke up, I could watch the planes and the final approach of the airport of Frankfurt. So that was it for my very special flight, and this also means that my series around my cruise with the Aurora is now coming to an end. I hope you enjoyed the series and this video. Here you can see when the next video with a different topic will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.